Hello friends, it's Kristine Vicente with Queen City Stamp Art, and today is Make a Card Monday, and I thought it would be fun to share some brand new product from the annual Stampin' Up catalog that's going to be released on Wednesday, May 1st. So this is a brand new catalog, and I'm not allowed to open it on camera until May 1st, and so I have to keep the cover closed. But if you're excited to see the inside, I will be doing a catalog walkthrough on Wednesday, May 1st, 2024, and so you'll be able to look for that video and get a tour of this gorgeous catalog. It's very different from some of the catalogs we've had in the past, and so I just wanted to give you a little overview and show you how you can make the most of that catalog, because it really feels more like a beautiful magazine to me than like a shopping catalog. So I wanted to be able to showcase a little bit of what makes it special this year. So as a demonstrator, I was able to do a little pre-order about a month ago, and I picked, one of the products I picked was this beautiful Country Flowers bundle. Now this bundle is part of a bigger collection within the catalog. It's kind of a whole suite. It's called the Country Woods, and it contains 2 Stampin' Die bundles and 2 sets of designer series, 12 by 12 designer series paper, which is super exciting. It's probably the biggest suite in the catalog, the annual catalog this year. And so I only got a portion of it right now, but I wanted to show you, I wanted to make a card using this beautiful product because I just love it. I've been having so much fun playing with it, and we're going to make a fun card today, but I'm also going to show you some of the cards I've been making as I've been playing with this set. So make sure you watch till the end, and if you're enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up, because that tells YouTube that this is worth sharing. Okay, so thanks so much. Let's move into the dies. I've been showing you kind of holding the stamp set available. There's some beautiful florals, there's a plant, there's some great sentiments on here. Love this set, and the dies are fantastic too. So I actually created a little visual of the dies. So these dies, this die set, I should say, has dies that will cut out each of the stamped images in the stamp set. So all of the stamped images have a coordinating die. But then there are also detail dies, which are shown in the soft seafoam color. So the white ones are the ones that you would stamp and die cut. And then these are extra dies that are detail dies that you can die cut and use on their own, which makes it super fun. There's a whole bunch of florals and leaves, some different vessels to make bouquets in, and then each of these bouquets or the plant will fit in these vessels as well. So it's so fun. And then this little teapot is fun because you can stamp the teapot and die cut it, or you could just die cut the shape and add a little lid, which is also fun. So that's a little closer look at the dies and also the stamp set from this beautiful bundle. And then one of the paper packs that comes in this collection is 12 by 12, and it's all a bunch of different wood tones, and we're going to be using a piece of that today. There's also a paper pack that has some eyelet patterns that are really, really pretty. So it's just a beautiful collection. You're going to really love it, I think, and you're probably going to see a lot of people using it. So in addition to the Stampin' Die bundle, we're going to be using some colors, some Tuxedo Black Memento ink, Pebbled Path, and Mossy Meadow today. I'm also going to be using the Mossy Meadow marker and a blending brush, and we're going to be using a layer of cardstock that was embossed with the Fun Patterns embossing folders. These little embossing folders can be found in our online exclusives. They are item number 163790. There's 2 different patterns. There's like a little floral arched pattern and then a little diamond pattern. They're both very, very cute and fun, and you can find them online. And let me bring in the card kit. So here's the little kit we'll be using today. So I die cut myself some pieces from the die set because I actually designed this card in a different color scheme for a class that I'm going to be teaching at a vending event that I'm going to this coming weekend. And I thought I would make the same card for you guys, just in a different color scheme. And so sometimes when I do classes, it's easier for me to die cut a bunch of things ahead of time and then just stick with some of the sentiment stamping for the class itself. It just makes it a little easier and helps the class to go a little bit more quickly. So I die cut 3 of the little flowers and this little crock in Pebbled Path. The leaves I die cut in Mossy Meadow, and the little flowers were die cut in white. And there's a die that will cut all 3 of those flowers at once. Then I cut the following pieces in case you'd like the measurements. So this base card measures 7.5 by 5.5, and then I laid it on my trimmer and I scored it at 4.25. So it only has a partial front. So I actually cut part of the front of this panel off. Then the inside layer measures 4 by 5.25. This is a standard inside layer for your base card. And we're going to stamp on that before we put it in, so I won't do that. I won't put that part in right now. Then I cut an extra piece of wild wheat cardstock. That's the color here. I cut an extra piece of wild wheat that measures 3 by 5.25, and I put that through the embossing folder. So we'll have that layer that we can add to the card. And then these pieces measure, this is the piece we're stamping on. This is the designer series paper, and it has a little thread of kind of a yellowy color, so I chose the wild wheat for that reason. This piece measures 3 by 3, and then the layer piece is just slightly bigger, so 3 1/8 by 3 1/8, just to give it a tiny border. So those are the pieces we're going to be using today. So why don't we go ahead and add this layer to our base card. Just gonna add this layer on here. I think I cut my card a little bit wrong, but the measurements I gave you are correct. So here's the start of the base card. Let's pull in some pieces and do a little bit of stamping. So we're gonna stamp on the inside piece. I'm using my Mossy Meadow ink pad, and I'm gonna pull the little floral image from here. And I'm going to add that to a block. And just add a little bit of Mossy Meadow floral to the inside. Just like that. And then we can add this piece to the inside of the card. And then this piece, the little piece with the wood grain, I'm going to stamp, I'm going to use some Memento black ink, and I'm going to stamp the With Sympathy sentiment. So when I ink this up, I'm going to stamp this right on the wood grain paper in the upper right corner of this panel. Just like that. Oh, and I'm going to leave that open because we're going to be using, I'm going to be stamping on that little die cut. So this little panel, we're going to stamp the Flower Market label on the front of this crock. I'm just going to center that right in the middle top portion of that. And then we can put this away. And then before we put the card together, I just want to do a couple things to make this a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to pull out some scrap paper, and I'm going to open up my Pebbled Path ink, which matches the cardstock. And I've got a little blending brush here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of ink around the edges to give it some dimension. Sometimes when you add ink around the edges, it can make a huge difference in how a die cut shape looks. It gives it almost a second layer and some definition and shading. So I'm just going around the edges to make that a little bit darker. And then to make it look even more like pottery, I'm going to add my I'm going to use my Stampin' Write marker, the brush tip. This has 2 tips. It's got a nice bullet writing tip and then a little brush tip. And I'm going to pull the brush tip. I'm going to go to the brush tip, and I'm just going to use the cover to flick a little bit of speckles onto my design to make it look a little bit more like pottery. And this is a very subtle detail, but it makes a huge difference in how the actual piece looks when it's on the card. So I added those little details, and I thought that was a fun thing to share with you today. So let's pull the rest of these pieces in and finish putting our card together. Alrighty, so we're going to start by layering these 2 pieces together, and I'm just using some tape adhesive for that. just like this. And then we're going to add this layer to the inside. And your card may look a little bit different because, like I said, I think I cut my base card just slightly off. And so I'm not going to have that edge like you are. You're going to have like a little edge around yours, a little border, because I cut my card a little bit too small. And then we're going to add this piece right here. I actually don't like how that looks at all. I'm going to take this off and try that again. Okay, so I just trimmed this down a little bit. And now we're going to add that to the base card. There we go. That looks better. Okay, and now we can add this little piece to the front. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on this side of the back because I don't want to glue my card shut. I want this to overhang that front flap by a little bit here, just like that. And then we're going to take this little crock that we made and we're going to add the flowers to the front of it. I mean the leaves to the front of it. And the easiest way to do this is to add a little bit, just a few dots of this liquid glue, like literally just dots on those bottom leaves to kind of hold it in place there. And then I'm going to add a dimensional to the back strategically to help hold the flowers in place. And then we'll add a couple more to pop up this layer. And then we'll add this to the base card. And this little panel is going to be in the opposite corner of the sentiment. And it's going to hang off the bottom a little bit, which is totally fine, just like that. And then we're going to add these tiny little flowers with additional dimensionals. And so this is where I grab my tweezers and use my tweezers to kind of help me with this part. So I'm going to put a little dimensional on each one of these flowers. And then I'm going to add this to these to the leaf area. And I love to add white flowers to sympathy cards. I feel like these are so pretty and peaceful. They remind me of gardenias. I just think they look great like that. Okay, and then to finish this card off, we're going to use some of the iridescent pearls. These are carrying over into the new annual catalog. And we're just going to take your pick tool, and I'm going to put a large pearl in the center of the large flower and the tinier pearls in the center of the little flowers. And they fit perfectly there. Perfectly, just like that. And then I'm sure that I can look through my stash and find something beautiful for the inside, a little sentiment for the inside of the card too. But this is my card design for today. So let me show you a couple more card ideas using this beautiful set. So let's see. As I was playing with it, the first thing I did was I made a card that focused just on the stamp set. So I stamped the image flat on the cardstock, colored it all in with my blends markers, and then added a little sentiment there, and then added it to a layer of Calypso Coral that I added to a Petal Pink base card. And I did some embossing on that layer too, some dry embossing with a folder. So that was the first thing I did. And then I kind of got excited and started moving on to other things. So in this one, I actually stamped and die cut the stool. I stamped it on pecan pie base cardstock. And then I did something similar with the pot. I just rubbed some ink on that. And then I stamped the leaves and colored those in with my blends markers and created this fun card using some ribbon and a card base in boho blue. And then last, I created another card using this beautiful designer tag set, as the designer tag is my sentiment panel. And this set is actually carrying over to the new catalog. I created another vessel like I just did for the card today. I created one here. That was the first time I did that with the speckles. This one was in smoky slate. And then stamped and die cut a stool again and colored more flowers and added them to that. And I really like how that came out too. So there's a lot. So I hope you enjoyed the cards for today, and I will look forward to sharing more with you from this gorgeous new catalog in the coming weeks. Thanks so much for watching.